That was Church Street. Started.
It started.
Yeah, it started.
Let's play Will.
Oh my god.
With the damn plots. Damn plots.
Donuts!
Okay.
Hey!
I like being the dog.
Don't like being the dog too much. Oh, we already saw this. What? I should have hit load. Sorry. There we go. Okay, who should we go for now? These two? Or these two?
Carlos and Cheng Yong.
We can't go for them right now.
Unknown purple person.
Unknown purple person. Holy Father's guidance and foster.
Not a purple people eater.
My name is Alicia. I'm 18 years old. I was born and raised in Mexico. I have a little brother named Carlos who is 9 years younger than me. He's the only family I have left. We're both orphans. The orphanage was so poor they couldn't afford to send us to school. I had to come out and make some money so that I could keep my brother in school. If I could make enough money, I thought maybe we could eventually move out of the orphanage and start a new life, just the two of us. I heard that America was a place full of chances for everyone. That was where I should go. A travel agency inside Mexico told me that crossing the desert, stowing away on a train, or getting across the Rio Bravo were all very risky and dangerous. Therefore, they established a route via ocean. Even though it would be slightly more expensive, it was guaranteed to be safe, and everyone who had taken this route had gotten into America. I spent the money I saved up for months and bought myself a ship ticket. There were several other young girls with me on the ship. We were locked inside a small room and not allowed to go out. At first, we thought it was so people wouldn't find us being smuggled across the border. But it had taken so long. We must have arrived by now. Half a month passed, we were still at sea. We were finally certain we had been conned. After a month, the ship arrived at a port. We were moved to a building near the port where guards watched us. Where were we now? Which country was this? Were we going to be sold? As slaves? Or prostitutes? I crouched in a corner with my mind running wild. Every once in a while, a guard would come in and take a sobbing girl out. There were fewer and fewer people in the room. Finally, there was only me and another girl named Julie left. Julie suddenly stood up and tried to hit the guard at the door facing us. She was holding a rock in her hand, but she didn't succeed. The rock fell to the ground, and her arm was grabbed so tightly by the guard, it looked like it was about to snap. She looked at me with a pleading look in her eyes. I really wanted to help her. I didn't want to be sold either. I was too scared. The guard had a gun. Everyone outside had a gun. Julie lowered her head. When she lifted back up, the guard was screaming like a pig being slaughtered. Half of his missing ear was in Julie's mouth. Then I heard a few gunshots, along with loud cursing. Julie fell down and stopped moving. Her eyes were open so wide, as if she'd just come out of a nightmare. The injured guard slammed the door angrily, one hand covering his ear. Soon another person came in. This one seemed to be nicer. He had half a bottle of beer with him. He sat at the door, looked at me, and then looked at Julie, lying in her own blood. He didn't seem to care about what happened at all. An hour later, his bottle was empty. He had fallen asleep in the chair. It was pretty late. Maybe I won't be taken away till tomorrow. I looked at Julie again. I remember what she told me there on the ocean. I want to become a singer in America. I want to be a star. She wasn't bragging. She had a really beautiful voice. She also said, I know if I do my best, my dream will come true. I would never forget the look on her face when she said it. Her eyes had been filled with hope and anticipation for the future. I was very jealous of how lively and full of joy Julie was. guard turned a little in the chair. His gun dropped from his waist, sliding towards my feet. Was it a hit from the Lord? I reached for the gun, but I jerked my hand back like I'd been shocked when I touched it. No, I couldn't. What if I ended up like Julie? I held the cross tight in front of my chest and started praying. Oh, Heavenly Father, Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. We trust that you know what our true needs are. You recognize our true feelings. You understand the situations we're in. Now we shall ask for what our heart truly desires. Oh God, give heed to my prayer. Show us your mercy. Amen. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. 30 minutes passed. The guard began snoring. The gun was right next to my hand. Maybe this had been a hit from the Lord. I finally picked up the gun in hesitation. It felt so heavy in my hand. Mom, Dad, please bless me. Carlos, please bless me. Heavenly Father, please bless me. I pushed the door open. There's no one in the hallway outside. It was so quiet. The only thing I could hear was my heart beating wildly in my chest. The building had only one floor. After taking one turn, I could see the main gate. There were several guards at the gate too. All of them had guns. There's a black man and 2 Asians. The rest of them all had pale skin. How could I get out? With just one handgun. I checked the gun in my hand once again. There were no bullets in the gun. There were no bullets? I collapsed on the floor, not feeling afraid anymore, just utter desperation. Soon, the guards noticed me and dragged me back into the room. This time, they cuffed up my feet so I wouldn't be able to escape again. Julie's body was still lying there. Flies began hovering around her face. They didn't seem to have any intention to clean up the scene. Did I end up like Julie? Was this my final destiny? Heavenly Father, please answer me. Alicia. What do you think? Well, the main problem here seems to be she had no bullets in the first place. And then again, it could easily end up worse just from her robbing bullets.
Gotta get her a submachine gun.
Next letter.
Live your life like a piece of shit. As long as it pays, you gotta do what you gotta do. These 2 gangs never made our lives easy. Recently, the old boss of the Musan gang had been severely ill because it's such a shitty name for a gang. His underlings were all itching to become the successor. There were at least a dozen people killed in infighting every day. Who the heck? Any days off, ever. If you get days off, you don't get paid. The case today was an annoying one, too. It was a hostage case, but the kidnapper and the hostages belonged to the same gang. It was a so-called family matter. What was worse was that the kidnapper was someone quite important in the Musan gang. The old man always told us to keep things easy so as to avoid a direct confrontation with the gangs. He had told me again today, multiple times, to bring the kidnapper in without hurting anyone. Inside the room from across the street through that window. My task today was to lure him over. I got closer to the vent, trying to observe the situation more closely. Clang. A loud noise came from somewhere. "Don't move," I heard a man's voice. A bullet flew out without me seeing it. The nails fastening the vent register had been shattered by the bullet, and it bounced off a few meters away into a corner. After a tumble and a half, I fell and smashed into the white carpet, along with the vent register. 5 meters away, the junkie was holding his gun with a shocked expression on his face, and smoke was still coming out of the dark, shaking barrel. I got back on my feet, I somehow had a gun in my hand. The 13 9mm bullets in the magazine were fired like a machine gun. Each one of them went through his head. Broken eyeballs splashed all over the barely recognizable. The skip text option and the options. Afterwards, every button press will reveal an entire line of text immediately. All of these fourth breaking wall tips have been archived inside the help menu, which will be periodically updated as we go along.
Now I have to eat cake while we watch this.
Cake. If you have any questions, don't forget to check the information there.
Got it.
Neurodegenerative disease that usually starts slowly and worsens over time. Typical symptoms and Wait, that repeated.
Yeah.
If you're still reading this carefully, then you're probably suffering. Oh my god. You.
She was doing that to mess with you.
You. I paged Minjun through radio that there was a change of plan and we needed to fall back.
A bullet that had come from the door hit me in the stomach. I slowly collapsed to the ground with my back against the wall. I could feel the warmth slowly leaving my body. The last thing I saw was some people arguing at the door. They were all strangers. Tears rolled down my face. It was true what they said. The people you thought you wanted to see in your last moments would be your own family. Bad endings for both of them.
Jeez. But where's the cling?
It's probably because of the thing that happened when she got shot. I accidentally knocked down a ladder that had been put against the wall. The guard in the room woke up. He stumbled in the hallway, quite sleepy. Suddenly, I had an idea. Hands up! Don't make a sound or I'll shoot. I pointed the gun to his head. He held his hands up high and began sweating. Walk to the gate slowly. Do not speak to them. Do not lower your hands. Do not turn around. I pressed the gun against the back of his head. We walked slowly to the gate. My palms were completely wet with sweat. Only I knew that I was more nervous than he. We were only a few hundred meters from the port. I smashed his head with the gun as hard as I could and knocked him out. Then I ran as fast as possible. I didn't dare look back. There were plenty of people on the street, many stores still open, even in the middle of the night. People were shooting me strange looks when I ran past them. They all seemed to be Asians. I didn't dare stop and talk to them. Julie had been right about one thing. Dreams did come true when you did your best. I didn't know how long I had to run, but I couldn't take even one more step. I collapsed into a bunch of paper boxes stacked at the corner of an alley. She got away.
Huh. The bullet hit the vent register. Then it happened to deflect and hit my shoulder. What a wonderful day for me! Ow! Well, why is the blood on his crotch?
It's probably just like the dropples that hit the ground.
No. Blood was streaming down my arm and dripping onto the vent. Then it dropped onto the carpet of the room below. Wait, what is this? The target steps were getting closer. Then he stopped. I didn't need to look. The bastard must be standing right beneath the vent. Soon he would lift his head, look up, and notice me. There was the sound of the window glass shattering. Then it was the sound of flesh being destroyed. Mission complete. Everything went as planned. Well, almost. I stood next to the junkie's body, which was missing half of his head. Oh shit.
You killed him.
You're supposed to just lose a leg or something. This was a little different from what the old man had demanded. Minjun had just rushed over from the building from across the street. He dropped to his knees with a thud as soon as he saw me. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. It was my mistake. I missed. It looked like he hadn't forgotten the last time when he did not follow the plan accordingly and had to write a 200,000-word report. Sigh. If apologizing was good enough, what would we need the cops for then? I checked the junkie's pocket. There were only 50,000 won and half a pack of Marlboros. I stuffed the money into Minjun's pocket and lit a cigarette for myself. Well, Choi Do-sung, which was the name of the junkie, was just trashed in this society, and he deserved to die. After witnessing such a bloody ending, maybe his loser buddies would learn to behave a little too. Yeah, maybe it wasn't too bad after all. I touched Minjun's head. Don't worry about it. Well done.
There we go, we got it.
Okay. We gotta rank keys.
There we go.
You have solved the Kanbojaka's problem, but don't forget about Chang Gyeong-min's letter from earlier.
Alright, it almost slipped my mind. Yeah, no, we can go back and try and fix this. Yeah, we can do this now. Case of kidnapping.
There's one thing that could help with your work. That's history.
History? That sounds like something I can use to review all the endings that I've unlocked, right?
Smart girl. Every ending you have come across is archived. There. When you run into something that's too complicated, try referring to the history for inspiration. Be determined.
There's a history.
Oh, one more thing. I have another small tip regarding the history archive. In here, we can browse all the possible endings to a letter. They are displayed on the right. Furthermore, they are arranged in the same order as the small squares you see in the original letter. They are arranged in this order. Subsequently, the ending with one small eye is the one you are currently viewing.
I see. I think this could help with my deductions too, when the number of endings increases.
Exactly. As for how you want to use it, that's totally up to you.
Okay, so this guy had the fire truck suddenly arrived, and my cell phone suddenly rang. For his A. I walked over there, and my cell phone fell to the ground, gets some S. Okay, so this might get us the S, right? You got the right guy. Yeah, I was Carlos.
Oh, man. Who the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? I turned around and answered the phone quietly. It was Lieutenant King. Lieutenant briefly asked me about the situation and told me to hand the phone over to the husband. It was a Boomeng gang. What? Is it true? Oh my. Oh my. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Wah. He hung up the phone, dropped the knife, and hugged his wife, sobbing uncontrollably. Sue, it's all okay now. We can have our lives back. I am sorry. I'm really sorry. It was all my fault. What just happened? I took my phone back from the man, confused. A strong gust of wind blew past us, and the man lost his balance. I quickly reacted, took a big step forward, and grabbed him, trying to pull him back. But I was pulled over instead. We fell off the ledge together. The world was spinning. It was 10 floors off the ground. No one would have survived if we hit the ground. I swung my right arm as hard as I could towards the roof's ledge. Something flew out of my coat. It was a white ribbon I had wrapped around my forearm with a small spearhead tied to its end. Convenient. The spearhead wrapped around the metal bar on the ledge a few times and tightened the ribbon.
Who does this?
A ninja. It is my secret weapon. I called it my tail.
Furry confirmed.
For a moment I let out a sigh of relief, thinking that we were safe. But the bar couldn't hold our weight and began to bend. I tightened my left fist and grabbed the man's shirt harder. I burned the last drop of energy inside of me with all the adrenaline I had and forced every single muscle cell to release all of their power. Justice was not something that I only talked about. I threw him up towards the roof. We were quickly moving away from each other in opposite directions. The metal bar finally gave out and it was torn away from the concrete on the ledge. I began falling with it. I could hear the wind gushing in my ears. This is my justice. That was us, huh?
Yep. Look at the fire truck is over there. So he's being all dramatic for no reason.
Okay.
The only choice we have now is the Wen and the green guy. Do you want to read first or should I?
I got green guy. Green guy. My name is Jimmy. Today was my first day at Yingnan High School as senior. I flew from Hong Kong to Beijing only a few days ago. My first night, my suitcase, which held my laptop, still hadn't arrived at the hotel. I was bored out of my mind and decided to go down to the arcade to kill some time. There I saw a girl with long hair. She had come into the arcade with a basket of tennis balls and she was sweating from head to toe. She wanted to get the Sir Spotty doll from the claw machine.
Yeah, this is important. Essentially, remember how we helped the girl essentially get hurt herself? She ended up going to the arcade, and if she hadn't gone, Jimmy would never have saw her.
I wanted to get it too, but earlier there had been a couple hogging the machine for a long time. Throughout my childhood, my father would always buy me anything I wanted. It was usually Game Boys, computers, and stuff like that. Nothing outrageous. So I never really understood the feeling of wanting something so badly, but not being able to get it. I looked at her from a distance. I watched her fail and keep trying over and over again. Her expression looked so funny, so cute. I felt a strange urge. I had gone to an all-boys school in Hong Kong, and I also wasn't someone who liked to go out that much. Never really met very many girls. I had never really learned how to pick up girls. But the day felt different. I really thought she was extremely cute, and I had a special feeling about her that I didn't really understand myself. I didn't want to miss the chance of getting to know her, you know? I mustered all my courage and decided to get her attention. I wrote down my email address on a piece of paper. Then I bought a drink and quietly left the cup on the counter of the claw machine with the note under the cup. Now I just needed to wait for her response. First night I didn't get an email. Must have been too late. She'll write me back the next day, I thought. Second day, all I got was junk mail. Third day, maybe she just lost that note by accident. Maybe she had it washed in her laundry. Maybe I just suck at giving people notes. I could find out what her email address was instead.
I can fucking stalk the shit out of her.
I'm a nice guy, man. All I needed to do was hack into the cashier system of the arcade. You know, I could get information on all the customers who had paid for tokens using mobile banking. And I could get more than just their email addresses, like their real addresses and bank accounts, you know.
So I did it.
So I did it. I mustered all my courage once again and wrote her an email. Yet, maybe she didn't really use our email. What a nerd. I told my father that I wanted to transfer to the school. It didn't really matter to him. The school happened to be quite good too, so he agreed almost immediately. If he had known the truth, he would have slapped me right in the face and called me a disgrace. I also found out that she liked playing tennis. So of course, I bought myself a racket and said, I'm a cool kid. I even finished reading all 42 volumes of the manga series, The Kid of Tennis. The Kid of Tennis is a Japanese anime comedy series centered around tennis-playing teenagers. The series received wide acclaim as soon as it debuted in Japan, and also broke many ratings records in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and other Southeast Asia countries. The hero of the series, Kaido Naraku, grows up in an extremely wealthy family, yet he has never had any luck with the girls in school, as he is too introverted. However, his life changes forever when one of his high school classmates and the girl in his dream, Mizukawa Ryoko, casually asks him, "Do you like tennis?" He makes up his mind and joins its school tennis team to become a great tennis player so that he can impress her and win her over. The unique art style and positive spirit of the series has influenced generations of young people, and the series has since become a classic. Many kids have grown up idolized Kaido Naraku, thinking that they could attract the attentions of their secret crushes by becoming good at tennis. More importantly, the vast majority of them eventually learned an invaluable lesson. It's missing an N. Learn an invaluable lesson that everything in an anime series is simply a lie. But I would never thought that I would get the chance to partner with her in a doubles match on my first day at the new school. I had also never realized that, well, that everything in the manga was a lie. The only time I even touched the ball, it hit the referee. Oh crap. Man, I suck so bad. She must hate me now. We ended up in a tiebreaker for the match. I had read about this in the manga. Basically, it was a quick way to decide the winner, with both sides have evenly been matched. If it wasn't for me, she would have already won easily. That was just so cool, you know. The ball was coming again. It's a fast one. It was flying towards my right side. I was so nervous that my hand was shaking uncontrollably. I tried my best to hold the racket as steady as I could. Took a step to the right. I rushed forward. I took a step to the right almost out of instinct, but I still let the ball pass. Even if I tried to hit the ball, it would never go in. From behind me, I heard her hitting the ball. Good job. But before I could finish my thought, I felt a sudden shock of numbness and pain from the back of my head. I completely blacked out. I was in the infirmary when I woke up. It was already noon. I looked around. There was no one else in the room but the school nurse. Oh, Jimmy, what did you think was going to happen? Stuck or fail?
Jimmy's a stalker. Yeah, we're gonna see more of Jimmy later on when he starts emailing her out of nowhere and she gets more and more freaked out because not only does he email her, but he also starts leaving gifts on her porch.
Okay.
Jimmy's a creeper.
Jimmy Creeper.
Next letter. This problem was so difficult. I stared at the test, looked like some kind of ancient curse torturing my fragile mind. A box of chocolate milk suddenly appeared on my desk. My favorite! I opened it up and started drinking it. It was delicious. Li Wen, what are you doing during the exam? Thud, Miss Yang pounded her fist on my desk. My eyes went wide. There was no test. No Miss Yang. Not even my favorite drink, chocolate milk. I was lying in my bed, wearing the t-shirt I put on for tennis last night. How had I fallen asleep like this? Slowly I remembered I found such strange things at my door last night. I carefully opened the door, looked outside. There was nothing. Was it just a dream? In any case, what time was it? I checked the clock on the wall. It was 9:10. I rushed to school as fast as possible. Second period had just begun. It was tennis class today. Our school was famous for its emphasis on so-called quality education, which meant unlike other schools, we had classes and stuff like tennis, art, and so on. Even for seniors, so they can get some exercise and relieve some stress with schoolwork. Not many seniors enrolled in these classes, though. Everyone had bet their whole lives on the upcoming GACO, the National Higher Education Entrance Exam. It's an annually held exam in mainland China. All high school seniors and people of similar academic levels take the exam as an entrance selection process for higher level education institutions. They're held every year from June 7th to 9th, including 3 mandatory subjects: literature, math, English, along with another choice, liberal arts, or civics, history, and geography, and engineering, science, physics, chemistry, and biology. Well, that's good. You don't have to take engineering, science, and liberal arts at the same time. That's cool. The battle in Gaokao was first held in 1977 with 5.7 million participants and a 5% acceptance rate. Ugh, that's very low. By 2017, the number of participants has increased to 9.4 million. The acceptance rate is 85%. Those seem to be very extreme in both cases. Nevertheless, it's very hard to be admitted to top universities. In the Chinese culture, going to a good college can change one's fate. Not entirely correct, it still dominates the minds of numerous students and their parents. In order to get better grades even when sick. Sometimes there are reports about students who keep studying with an IV attached. Many top schools in each individual province have been known to come up with extraordinary strategies to send their students to top 2 universities in China. For instance, Hengesui High School in the Hebei province is infamous for military-style school administration and the most well-known super sweat factory in China after the fall of its predecessor. I had no idea what I wanted to do in the future, nor what major I'd be interested in. I suppose I could just go with the flow. I carried the racket under my arm and ran to the tennis court. Usually I would just do some hitting practice during class, but today I was here with a purpose. Last time, I accidentally hit the knucklehead Rocky from class 3 when I was practicing my serve. He insisted I did it on purpose and challenged me a match to settle the score. What kind of obsessive, obnoxious man was this? Well, today was the day of our duel. I agreed to his proposal, with 30 boxes of chocolate milk as the wager. My favorite. We played a doubles match for one set. We got to pick a partner for the opponent. I picked Wei Kuang as Rocky's first partner. He was probably the weakest of all the people present today. My darling chocolate milk, here I come. Rocky pointed to someone behind me. You'll partner with him then. I turned around. Saw someone who was looking petrified, someone whom I never even met. He introduced himself as Jimmy. He just transferred from Hong Kong today. Huh? A transfer student in the last semester of senior year? And from Hong Kong, no less. That's peculiar. Never mind. I need to win my chocolate milk first. Since you enrolled in the class, you should be very good. Maybe this will be my lucky day. Just one game later, I realized I had been kidding myself. That's sneaky, Rocky. You must have known this guy didn't know how to play at all. Wang Kuang had been only 2.0, but that would make his Jimmy a 0.2. He barely even knew how to hold a racket. Sigh. No matter, for I practice chocolate milk, I'll have to do it alone. Half an hour later, we were at the tiebreaker. The score was 7-8, their match point. If I could win this next point, I had a chance. Otherwise, I'd have to go buy the chocolate milk myself at a 7-Eleven. I was standing on the right side at the back. My hat was soaking wet, and sweat was dripping down my ponytail onto my t-shirt. Jimmy was standing left side of the net. I could see he was sweating through his t-shirt too. Here came the ball. It was aimed at the center back court to my left. I squeezed the racket in my hand. Sudden twist to my ankle. Swing. I fell to the ground and completely mishit the ball. Even worse, it went straight to the back of Jimmy's head. Jimmy fainted. Oh no, did I just give him a concussion? But I remembered he was standing much further left, wasn't he? Li Wen. So what happened is probably Jimmy went for a ball that was more aimed towards Li Wen and ended up just basically getting hit by her when she fell. Yeah. Okay, so we obviously should make sure that Li Wen's the one swinging for the ball, right? So let's go ahead and twist this guy's ankle instead, right? Let's let her rush forward. I don't think we need her to take a step to the right, right? Let's try that. Okay, looks like it doesn't change him that much. Even worse, the ball went to the straight back of Jimmy's head. Jimmy passed out. Oh no! What, he still was in the right? Okay, I can't have him take a step to the right. Okay. Took a swing at the ball, but almost tripped. Had to take another step to stop myself from falling over. The tennis ball flew over the net, kissed the baseline. Compressed, bounced up, then got stuck in the wired net fence around the court. Yay, match point saved. Rocky was such a sneaky bastard. With Jimmy barely able to move, he was out aiming every ball at him. Jimmy was able to get out of the way every time, even with a twisted ankle. We were coordinating surprisingly well. After a while, Wang Kuang was standing there too. The game had become a singles match between Rocky and me. Maybe Jimmy was a lucky charm, because we eventually won the game 15-13. What a great partner. I won my chocolate milk. Hooray! Jimmy took the twisted ankle like a boss.
I fell to the ground and my ankle hurt like hell. Fortunately, we still won the point thanks to her. Now our opponents were hitting the ball towards me almost exclusively, but Li Wen was too good. And eventually, we won! High five. More importantly, she ran over and high-fived me. Yeah. Wasn't just daydreaming about this, she really did just give me a high five. Her hand felt so warm. I would never forget that moment.
Why does it look like she's in a uniform and he's not?
Came from an arcade, man.
There we go.
Mm.
如果事情可以重来，
Dios, ¿qué debería hacer?
Okay, so now one from Carlos. Jimmy and Carlos. And a strange teacher.
Huh.
It looks like this one diverged off the path. So I guess that means that they're going to go another house.
Think so?
Maybe. It looks like it diverged a bit. So maybe there's another one that ends up going there. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
They have strange teacher. Really raised Mr.
Jimmy's kind of funny.
Swan.
My mother had always complained that I never exercised. She would always say that if I ever needed to run away from bad guys, I'd be dead in just a few steps. There's not that many bad guys in the world. Ugh. Besides, even if there were, I think I could just stay in my room and not go outside.
They can break into your room.
Yeah, it is the information era after all. As long as I can get information online, I can play with the real world in the palm of my hand. Yeah, even though I managed to dodge all the recruiting activities for the school sports meet, my roommate had totally ruined my perfect plan. Today was the all-school sports meet. Thought I could have made up an excuse like a foot injury so that I wouldn't even have to sit under a tree. I could just stay in my room and play on my computer. Baraki had signed me up for the 4x400 relay race without me even knowing about it. Now I had to stand under the scorching sun. 400 meters! Madness! The last time I'd been in a race, I was still in elementary school. I hadn't even hit puberty. Puberty. Thought I might die on the track today. Oh. The gun went off. I took it from his hand. Never knew that Rocky was so fast. Our team was actually in first place during this third leg run. Still, why was I the final leg?
Normally in running you put the worst person, I think, right?
Yeah. What are people thinking? Ugh. There's nothing else I could do but run my life like my life depended on it. The people along the tracks were cheering for me. Couldn't really tell who they were, but this actually felt great. I was only 50 meters from the finish line and no one had caught up with me yet. I must have underestimated myself.
No, they just gave you a huge leap.
Look at me, Mom! Your son is about to win a race! I looked straight ahead to the finish line. Then I saw her! I saw my crush! Oh no. Don't distract me at such a moment. You beautiful Sphinx, you. It was too late. I had only lost my focus for 1 second and the tip of my foot tripped over a bump on the track. My entire body left the ground and then my face smashed into the ground. By the time I got back up, the other teams had all run past the finish line. Oh no. Jimmy.
Good job, Jimmy.
Jimmy having troubles.
Jimmy has the best troubles in the game, doesn't he? These are obviously the most serious troubles in the world. Mr. Kwan, is that also one of yours or mine? The village just had several fire. Pitch Street 99 was still open for business. It was a small old building. The walls were covered with flyers and graffiti. I walked through the main gate and saw a narrow staircase. There's also a small desk at the bottom of the stairs, facing the entrance. A man with spiky hair was sitting behind the desk with his legs crossed. He put down a magazine, which had a woman with big breasts on the cover, and asked what I was doing there. I told him a man in a long brown trench coat told me to come here. Trench coat? Everyone here wears a trench coat. I'm telling you, this is not some place you can just walk in. You better get out of here before I stab you with a knife. Spiky hair picked up the magazine again. I tried to recall what the guy looked like. white shirt, gray vest, short black hair, that was combed in the back. He also had a big guy in a black suit with a scarred face by his side. Scarred face, Mr. Tuff? Hold on, does the guy you're talking about have his right hand? Spiky hair put down his magazine and legs, leaned towards me and asked quietly, right hand? I couldn't remember exactly, but I do remember he picked up my phone with his left. He shouted upstairs, Mr. Kwan, the guy that you've been waiting for is here. I clicked up the staircase with anticipation. The man who came down was not the one I met. He was wearing a leather jacket, a pair of sunglasses, had high cheekbones, and he looked much older. He took me away to the suburbs on his motorcycle. Mr. Kwan spoke very fluent English. He told me the building we had just been in was headquarters of the Black Dragon Gang, the biggest gang in Hong Kong. The person he told me to come was second command of the gang. He instructed Mr. Kwan to induct me as a pledge. A pledge was a potential candidate to join the gang. Before officially admitting me, Mr. Kwan had to make sure I was qualified. He put a gun in my hand. I was stunned. You don't have to do it. If you're not willing to do this, we can leave right now. You'll just pretend that you never met me. Mr. Kwan took a small metal box out of his pocket and threw a piece of gum in his mouth. No, I'll do it. I couldn't let go of any chance to find Alicia. Besides, I had a brilliant idea. I went to a convenience store nearby. Most of the goods on the shelves seemed to be used. Some were covered with a thick layer of dust. The owner looked like he was over 60. He was reading a book behind the counter. It was just the two of us in the store. I walked to the counter, smashed my left hand down on it, lifted the gun with my right hand, and pointed it at his head. I yelled in my meanest voice, "Give me all your money, or I'm gonna blow your head open!" Then I whispered to the man about what was going on, making sure Mr. Kwan wouldn't be able to hear me. I was so nervous, even though I had no intention of robbing him for real. I handed him what was in my hand. "Please!" The owner put down his book and looked at me pleadingly. We need the money for my wife's hospital bill. I can't give it to you. Everything else in this shop, if you like, is yours. Please, please. Apparently only heard my threats, not my whispers. Tears rolled down my face. I must have not lost my mind trying to rob a poor man like this. Even if it was fake, I should never have done this. I handed the gun to the owner and loudly told him why I was here and what I've been through. To my surprise, after hearing the story, the owner offered to help me and asked about my sister. He even asked if I would be willing to stay here and help out in the store. He said I was welcome as long as I didn't mind the little wage he could afford. I gave the old man a hug. Outside the store, Mr. Kwan had already left. I would never see him again. I started working at the store while looking for information about Alicia. Days went by, but I still hadn't heard anything. Lord, what should I do to find my sister? Should I have joined the gang instead? Carlos. Yep, we have to get him to join the gang.
In these two letters, there are some special restrictions.
Special restrictions?
Yes, remember I told you that the white pieces could be moved anywhere? They're past the first and last black pieces in the letter.
Yes, I do remember.
When special restrictions are in place, that will if you put high-handed him and I caught him from both on the left side, then the former has to happen after the later. Because you can't hand the baton over and then have it back. Furthermore, if you put the gun when it's off piece on the left side too, it has to happen before the match begins. So there's another sequence restriction on these pieces too. All sequence restrictions labeled by smaller numbers cannot be placed after the pieces with larger numbers. As the aforementioned restrictions like the last slide, there is a straight vertical line in the middle of the red diamond. And the number is marked on the left side of that line.
Oh boy, I'm completely lost.
Well, that's not all. In addition to sequence, there are other special restrictions, such as conflict. We'll deal with that when we see it. For now, you just need to remember that all of the pieces with special restrictions will be labeled with a red sign like this one on the right side.
Okay then, I'll try my best to remember them. Okay, so that means if they're all on this side, we have to have them in this order. The gun went off, I took it from his hand, I handed him what was in my hand. I'm pretty sure we don't want the gun went off to be able to hear. Please, I took it from his hand. Okay, that might be good. What do you think? I'm pretty sure if I handed it was in my hand, that changes him to bring the anchor to be somewhere else.
I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I had to take one more step, I was gonna throw up blood and die right there, right then. Ugh. Our team was in second place. It was all up to Rocky now. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters, but something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? In the end, not only did Rocky fail to pass Class 2, he was eventually passed by Class 4, 10 meters away from the finish line. Sorry, that sucked. Although, being part of this actually felt pretty great.
Theodore was so frightened he was shaking. He immediately took the few large bills out of the drawer and handed them to me. Apparently you only heard my threats, not my whispers. Looking upon a 60-year-old man with an ailing wife at home, crying and begging me to spare his life, I could barely hold in the tears myself. Mr. Kwan took the money from my hand with a satisfied look on his face. Then I was admitted to the Black Dragon Gang. A few days later, in the evening, I took a motorcycle from somewhere else in the group and came back to the store. I stuffed all the money I borrowed the past few days under the door. Sorry and thank you, Mr. Owner. Okay. Looks like all I can adjust here is these. Let's see if we can change it at all. Oh, that changed it. The gun went off, please. I handed him.
Let's go, Rocky, go, go, go! I'll buy you ice cream!
Okay, so the change is that he's screaming at Rocky now.
How does that translate from please?
Please win, please win.
Now that I participated, I wanted us to win too. I couldn't help but start cheering Rocky on. Many of the people around me were cheering for him too.
I think you're the first one to cheer for us.
Never knew that participating in this kind of event could actually feel pretty great. Rocky suddenly sped up. Finally ran past Class 2 with 10 meters left to cross the finish line first. Well done. We were happily hugging and shoving each other near the finish line. My stomach hurt a little. Can we do barbecue instead of ice cream? You're funny. I pushed Rocky aside and caught a glimpse of someone. It was my crush. And she was looking at us.
I love how they have these little emojis here.
She was smiling. Wow. I never knew I could get this kind of reward by participating in the meet. I felt so happy, so happy.
There we go.
Jimmy happy.
Jimmy happy.
하나님, 나를 도와주세요.
¿Por qué me pasan este tipo de cosas?
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a good one.